Hello, podcast listeners. Like your favorite infomercials, JJ Meets World today? Well, your host with the most is going to tell you about some of his favorite products, brand name included. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode where you are going to hear about some fantastic things to add to your home or business. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called J.J. Meets World.
I have a migraine because I watched Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance today.
Oof, that's the second one?
Yeah, I watched the first one yesterday, so it was a double whammy. And because I've finished going through my whole collection of like organizing everything for the physical media. And so now I'm going through and watching the stuff that I have a copy of, but I've never actually watched before. So like I had never gotten around to watching the Ghost Rider movies because they looked like shit. There was nothing about them at the time that looked good. So I never went and saw them. So I finally crossed those two off my list just because as a Marvel kid, I feel like I have to. But man, whew, that's time back I'll never get. I'll never rewatch those ever again.
I remember in the trailer, there's like a cut to of Nicolas Cage going like he's got a headache, and he's like, yeah, just hold on. My head feels like it was on fire last night. And yeah, that's the thing is like he has a head on fire.
Yep.
Oof. Well, I'm glad that you got that out of your system.
Yeah,
you can say you've done it.
I could say I've done it. Yeah. And now I've got archival copies on Blu-ray.
Well, it's funny that you, Tucker, happen to have finished your organization, because I want to talk about some products today. So first and foremost, we're a non-sponsored podcast at this point. But I do talk about brands that I love all the time. And I do get great feedback from people. Like just the other day, I was chatting with a frequent listener and friend, and she mentioned, she's like, the clothes you guys are always talking about. And I'm like, you mean Goodfellow Brands by Target? And I thought, now I want to highlight some products that I really feel like changed my life, and we're not endorsed by them. So I'm telling you this literally not because I'm paid to, but because I love these things so much. So I want to start with a product I used for the first time ever today. I'm a homeowner, and we've had a lot of snow in the upper Midwest, and our roofs are rated for a huge amount of weight. So the snow that lands on your roof, our building codes up here require us to have, X number of trusses so that it can take a lot of weight before it might collapse. But at one point, they do recommend you probably should get rid of some of that because it also causes ice damming near your gutters and your shingle line. So I used to own what was called a roof rake. It was an aluminum sheet that was on 24 feet of aluminum piping, and you would kind of like you use I'm trying to think of anything else. Kind of like use like a scoop. Like you see a piece of heavy equipment that scoop. So I would essentially flop this onto my roof and then pull back and pull snow off of my roof. Now, this was arduous because you have to work from the front all the way to the back. So by the time you clear even a section, you've had to already go up that section 9-10 times to be able to pull all of this down.
I think if people aren't from the area that we live in, it'll be tough for them to really appreciate how heavy snow is.
It is so heavy. And, there's a reason why it causes heart attacks every year. People are straining themselves to move scoop after scoop after scoop of snow. So I saw my neighbor use one of these, and I was like, I got to check that out. And so I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I ordered it for myself before the end of last year using some some gift cards I had gotten. It's called a roof razor, Razer. It's made in Minnesota. It's a Minnesota-based company. In fact, Minnesota, when I think of Minnesota, I think of 2 area codes, 218 and then 612. 612 means you're from like the Twin Cities, Minneapolis area. 218 means you're in the rural area. And then there's a 320 that I think might be near Duluth. So it has a 218 phone number, which means it was made within a reasonably close proximity to my home. It's called, so the roof razor is a pretty simple idea. It is a metal bar that looks like a box that does not have any front or back on it. So it's wide open. It's got 2 small hard rubber wheels on the lower parts. And then it's got a tarp. It's got a 10-foot long tarp that is the same width as the box without the front or the back. And then
it's kind of like you're giving the snow a slip and slide, right?
Right. That's exactly what it is.
I watched the video on your Facebook page, and I think it's kind of entrancing.
Yeah. So, and you can watch other ones that are even more amazing. So, and then you push this thing up, and then the tarp creates a slide for the snow, and it's super slippery. So as you push it up, the snow goes. So really, you only need to push it up once. And then you move to the next part, and then you push it up, and you push it up, and the snow falls off. So what used to take me upwards of like an hour to clear took me less than 8 minutes. And it's a one-man operation. Saving. One man. So like I was able to do, it took me longer to shovel away the snow that I brought off my roof than it did for me to even put this thing together and get it outside.
You know, as a kid, when it would be my job to, for chores to shovel the sidewalk, I would always wonder, why can't I just have a flamethrower and just hit snow with fire? Because wouldn't that just automatically take care of everything? I never really thought it through, but there are times where you really wish you could just give you just want to nuke the snow, right? You just want to be like, I get out of here right now. My whole driveway needs to be snowblowed, and I am so considering procrastinating on that till tomorrow.
Well, and clearing snow is a never-ending cycle, right? So even in a winter where there's not much snow, there's still so much left to be moved, and getting it off your house is the worst. It's so difficult. It's so hard with my old roof rake. With the roof razor, it took no time at all. By the way, like I said, made in Minnesota. In fact, it was Minnesota is the name of the company that makes it. It's you get
for that alone, I don't think we should endorse this.
You get 4 6-foot long poles, so a total of 24 feet. You can buy extenders too if you need more than that. It's a 2-foot wide cutting head, and then a 10-foot hand sewn snow slide that you get included with this. It retails right now online for $150. Honestly, I would have spent $500 and felt I got every single penny's worth out of it. I am incredibly impressed by this product. And the nice thing is that if any part of it tweaks or breaks, it's got a great return policy. These are people who know how to deal with what we're doing. And I don't even have that heavy of a pitch on my roof. And so the fact that this stuff like slid right off, no sweat, is nothing short of amazing. In fact, I did put a video up on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page about it. And I've had some comments of people being like, yeah, I kind of want someone to buy this before I tried it. And it gets a ringing endorsement. There's one guy who said doesn't work as easy as that. And that guy is
what is he saying? Like, as he's watching it, he's like, fake. This video's fake.
In fact, I'm boiling. I am so mad at this man. He says they don't work as easy as that is his comment. And my reply was, it absolutely did. From unboxing to clearing the entire garage side to side was less than half an hour. Hard packed snow from the start of winter to now. Incredible. One-man operation is easy. If you have 2, cleanup on the ground is easier. It took me longer to clear what came down than to remove it from my roof. And so that I'm going to unfriend that guy once we're done with this.
I don't understand the logic of this dude to go, He's watching a video, right? And then after he watches the video, he goes, I'm going to post that I think nothing in this video is real.
Right. Does he think I did I call Industrial Light and Magic to CG this stuff? I'm working with, actually, so I'm taping, and you know who's actually doing the work while I'm taping? My 72-year-old father-in-law.
Really?
So that should be even more of a ringing endorsement about how great this is. Now, that being said, Pete's in way better shape than I am. So, I mean, full disclosure. So yeah, the roof raiser. Can't say enough good things about it. So much so that I'm going to unfriend someone on Facebook because I feel like he's a dirty liar. And if he doesn't follow what I love, then he doesn't deserve my time.
Did you feel like you were shaving your roof?
I did. Here's what else is nice about it too. So those little wheels mean you're not scraping down to the shingles. It means that you're still leaving about like an inch of snow on your roof, which is great. So you're not like the roof rake. I remember back in the day, you could pull chunks of your roof off with it by accident or pull some of it up and then cause a leak. With this, it's dummy proof. That's
except for the guy who commented on your post.
Right. And I kind of feel like, did you not use it, or were you using it to try and build your deck? How did you misuse this product? It's a baby could figure out how to use this.
Does this guy donate to us on Patreon?
No, he does not.
Okay,
at least
good.
I don't know. A couple people have like fake names that they put on our Patreon, but what are you going to do? Okay. The next thing I want to endorse is the Chefin, CHEF''N fridge fork.
This sounds made up.
No,
the Chefin fridge fork.
Google it. In fact, listener, Google.
I believe you.
Google
I'm just saying it sounds made up.
I know.
It sounds fake.
It's a condiment fork. It retails for $9.
Wait, what?
Yep, it is. So here's the idea behind the fridge fork. When you open a jar of olives or pickles or pepperoncinis, you need to now dig in there, right? And like some of that stuff gets to the bottom. They now have like these tall jars, and getting stuff out of it is awful. And you don't want someone putting their regular old fingers in there, because now you're getting dirty fingers and your delicious brine. So what the fridge fork is it comes with two like BPA free rubber bands, and one is for bigger jars like pickle chips, and the other one is for smaller jars like your regular, let's say, garlic stuffed olive jar. And then both of these bands have a caddy that goes onto it. In the caddy is a trident, if you will, a 3-pronged fork that sits in a caddy.
This right now.
That sits
what
in a
the hell
caddy.
is this thing you're describing?
Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
The fridge fork was the gift I gave to a bunch of people this last year. I gave away 10 of these things as gifts. I have received such positive comments back from people about them, saying, this is the thing I never knew would make my life complete. No fingers going in there. And here's the beauty. It's not a fork like we think of a fork. The trident is kind of a triangle style of barbs that go down. So gone are the days of where you're trying to spear something. The spearing on this is worth the price alone. It is such a phenomenal, simple, silly idea. And then you put it right back into the fridge. So you bring it out. So we have 3 fridge forks in my house that we go between. So we've got a fridge fork on a jar of pickles right now, on a jar of olives, and on a jar. Oh, what's the last thing? They're like kind of like olive oil mushroom type deals. The fridge fork's fantastic. It's so simple. It's so easy. The wash on it is, you just rinse it real quick, and then boom, you're good to go, because there's not a ton of surface area to the thing that you need to worry about. And because it's stainless steel, you never have to worry about the tines rusting on it. The fridge fork is just top notch when it comes to it. Have you taken a Google of this? Are you looking at the fridge fork?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So basically it's a fork you attach to a jar.
Yes, but it's not a fork in what you think the shape of a fork should be.
Right, but what I could do is I could take a fork and a rubber band.
No. See, you're missing out on some of the fundamentals here. For example, it sits in its own caddy. So if you take it out and there's liquid on it, now that liquid's not just going to end up, let's say, on the shelf of your refrigerator. It sits in its own little cubby. You're
Got
also
it.
not going to stab yourself with it. Also, the fact I'm gonna call you out on this. I don't actually think you could shape a regular fork that's in your cupboard right now into the shape that the fridge fork provides.
I mean, it's tri-pronged. Yeah, I don't. It's calling itself a fork, right?
Yep.
Fork is in the title, so I'm calling it fork. It's just the tongs are positioned a bit differently. I see its utility. I don't disagree with its utility at all. I think if anything, I'm just not interested because none of the foods you've described that you use this for are anything I want in my fridge.
Right, because you're not a pickle fan, and you're not an olive fan either.
Not an olive fan. No, I don't want any of these things near me. So, but I guess if I had to have them and I needed to get someone a pickle, I would want to use
The
a fridge fork for sure.
And listen, we should also mention this right now. I only hate that guy on my Facebook page. You could tell me that I just don't have a need for this, and I'd be like, okay, but this is a good gift idea. Should you ever need to get a gift for someone? There are merits to the fridge fork.
His input was not warranted at that moment for sure.
No, and it certainly isn't appreciated.
I'm imagining the moment where someone's like, "Hey, JJ, can you give me a pickle?" Just over at your house.
Yeah, and I'll be like, sure, no problem. Or I could just bring them the jar with the fridge fork, the chef-in fridge fork attached, and I'd be like, choose the one that you think has the best pickle quality you're looking for.
God, ever since you told me that story about Phil raiding your fridge where he made
a hot dog.
It was like a hot dog. Was it just a hot dog or was there anything else?
Well, I mean, it was a hot dog that he put French onion dip on,
right.
and then some garlic and jalapeno stuffed olives.
That's right. You described it as like a bear coming into camp.
Yes, very much so.
Every time I watch an episode of The Sopranos now and Tony Soprano goes to the fridge, I think of Phil making himself a hot dog at your place in the middle of the night.
I'm surprised that the whole cast of The Sopranos didn't end up being like 600 pounds because they were constantly eating that like those heavy pasta dishes.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose, like Tony Soprano also is like sitting on he's not with us anymore. But by the way, I sent Tucker a clip recently where someone had taken footage of this orangutan that likes to drive a golf cart, and they put the Sopranos theme over it, and it's all these other shots in a zoo. It's probably one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
It is pretty fantastic.
Yeah. It's called Zoopranos for anyone who wants to watch it on there. Okay, next product. I have I'm a Diet Coke fanatic. So know that going into this. But recently, I was having some real gut troubles. And so I needed to address the fact that my hydration is drastically out of whack. And I decided, okay, how am I going to get better about getting hydrated? Because I could just start drinking water all the time, but I like to have flavor with what I have. Plus, in a weird way, I feel like if I have water in front of me, I don't drink it as much as I might just drink Diet Coke. So someone suggested to me, like, well, listen, maybe you should drink Pedialyte. And so Pedialyte is a drink for babies, and it's ultra hydrating. It's got a lot of electrolytes and zinc. And I drank about 2 things of Pedialyte before I was like, nope, I'd rather die. It tastes awful. No wonder we give it to babies, because they cannot vocalize how awful it tastes. I mentioned to you one day that I was drinking a purple one that tastes just like Dimetapp. A grape Dimetapp.
Right. And I got excited by that because I love Dimetapp.
Right. And you like Dimetapp in the amount that you've had it previously. Same with me. But when you try and drink a liter of that, you go, nope, never mind. So a good friend of mine said, have you tried Liquid IV? And I said, I have not. Explain what Liquid IV is to me. So it is a hydration multiplier. So it's got electrolyte and immune system support. So what you do is it's a little tiny pouch that contains a powder, and the powder has got flavoring in it. So right away I'm like, I've made Kool-Aid before. I understand how this works. But it also has a lot of things like you get the power of CTT, designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other nutrients. non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free. It is vegan. It is an immune system support blend. It's got 5 times the daily value of vitamin C combined with zinc and Wellmune, designed to maintain and strengthen the immune system. It is convenient. So essentially, like if you work out really hard, they want you to drink something like this because you're going to replenish your electrolytes. Now,
Right.
I also want to be the first person to say, I know I'm saying the word electrolyte a lot, but I really have no idea what that means.
Mhm.
I just know I'm supposed to have it.
You know, it's what plants crave.
Yeah, right. It's just like Brawndo. It's got what plants crave. So the idea behind this is that you absorb the hydration element of water much faster with this because it's got some salt, some sodium to it, faster than you would just drinking regular water. So you would actually have to drink more more tap water than one of these to kind of balance it out. So I started putting one of these in the water I drank every single morning. Now, I'm not putting it in every single thing that I drink because I do think that you're supposed to drink regular water. It flushes stuff out of your system. But right away in the morning, I have something that tastes good. I have the stuff that tastes like tangerine. I've also tried the acai berry one, and that one is all right, but I prefer the tangerine. And there's a test you can do. So, Tucker, put out your pointing finger right now.
I think we just talk about this?
Where you pinch it?
Yeah, where you pinch it, and then if the skin doesn't snap back, then you find out that you're dehydrated.
Yeah, and so after doing this for 3 weeks, my skin snaps back immediately versus pretty much just staying in that position as it previously was.
Has your peeing out your pee-pee changed at all?
No. I mean, other than the fact I'm going to the bathroom more because I am drinking more water. I'm consuming more liquids.
There's more pee-pee.
Yes.
Okay.
Also this, again, I'll bring up my father-in-law. You know, your body, it's not, if I have like 5 times the vitamin C my body needs every day, you just end up peeing out that other vitamin C.
Right.
It's not like your body's like, oh, let's absorb this and store this vitamin C for later. It's not cheeseburger fat.
Is that what they refer to when they say water soluble?
I have no idea.
I think water soluble is what a vitamin is if you just pee it out your pee.
Right. And that's the thing.
After you have too much.
So many people, like the people who are like, oh, I take a 1-a-day vitamin and I take this and this and this. Well, your body can only absorb so much. And so you end up just, you get really expensive urine. I also
water
have noticed that my pee is clear. So rather than being like a hard yellow.
I think. Isn't that a good sign?
That is a good sign. It's a really good sign. And I mean, I feel it in my joints. I feel it in the way I approach the world. So
water soluble vitamins is just a vitamin that can dissolve in water.
That's it.
And there are a bunch,
is that
including vitamin C.
I mean, we're mostly water as human beings. So should we be?
Well, I just think it's saying that if it's soluble in water and our body knows how to handle water, so it's just going to pass it through. Like there is water tox. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just talking out my bunghole right now. But
that's a very technical term, Dr. Tucker. Your bunghole.
I've been using Beavis and Butthead terminology for the past couple of days, a lot more than is normal. But basically, I think essentially it's. There is water toxification where you can have too much water in your system, but I think it's really difficult to get there. Really, really tough to.
It is.
And that's where you're putting water in your body at a rate through which your body can't expel it at the same rate. But I think for the most part, your body is able to process water and expel it. So water soluble vitamins, I'm assuming then, are ones that it's really difficult to hurt yourself with too much of them because your body will just pass them through in the water.
Do you think that if you were to, let's say, drink a bunch of water and then someone told you there's pee in that water, do you think your body would throw it up like mentally?
I mean, I would want to throw it up. If someone told me you just drank my pee, then yeah, I would be like, but I mean, now if they're trying to be like cute and funny, like, oh, there's probably trace amounts of all sorts of things in municipal water, even after all of this something, then I don't really care. But if someone's got pee in a cup and they're like, drink this, I don't want to drink that. That's gross.
But I mean, you drank a lot of water. Like you've been working out, you're sweaty, and so you go in, you drink a bunch of water, and they're like, I pee-peed in it just a little bit.
Maybe. Here's what I want to know. Are there such things as Pepsi soluble vitamins?
Like, can I get Pepsi into my bloodstream faster?
Well, no, it's like if you drink a lot of Pepsi, then it's safe to take these vitamins as well because they're Pepsi soluble.
Oh, well,
I drank way too much Pepsi last night, and it got me sick this morning.
It's interesting you bring that up because recently the FDA had to come out and put a document out that said, "Hey, I can't believe that we have to say this, but you should not be taking your medication with soda." And the fact that like a lot of times, so like even like coffee, you're meant to take pills with water, and they tell you like, hey, you need to eat before this, so you need to eat something, and then you need to take the pill. But they're still assuming you're going to take the pill with water. So many people, I guess, are saying things like, oh, I'm taking this daily blood pressure medication, but my blood pressure isn't really going down. Well, it's because you're taking it with something like you might take it with like orange juice, let's say, and the acidity in that is so much, it's actually eating away at some of the chemical that you're trying to introduce into your body. So they're like, hey, listen, we know this is ridiculous, but y'all aren't drinking Mountain Dew while you're taking your diabetes medication, right? And they're like, no, well, yes, we are, but should we not be? And they're like, yeah, no, stop it. That's stupid. You silly bastards. You don't deserve to live. Next product. I love homemade bread. It's one of my favorite things. And this is a very classy thing to have in your kitchen. So if you ever get bread, so you can buy unsliced bread at the supermarket or at a nice bakery, or use it for homemade bread. It is a serrated bow style bread slicer. So what it is, it's a wooden handle that's in a C shape, the shape of a C, but it's not really a deep C. It's kind of shallow, and then it's got a serrated blade at the end, and you use that to cut bread. And so here's what I like. It's a nice, thick wooden handle, so that feels good. You can keep the pieces the same size because you can bring your bow all the way into the bread and slice it every time. You can slice it thinner if you want. It is the type of thing where you don't squirrel this away in a drawer. You hang a hook, and then you hang this from the hook. It is awesome. It retails for $25, but it is worth every single penny I paid for this bread slicer.
Do we have any affiliate links hooked up for this?
So, okay, I will also say all of these things are available on Amazon, and I'm using the retail price from Amazon. So the chef and fridge fork, the roof raiser, liquid IV, the serrated bow style bread slicer. I'll even give you a moment, Tucker, to go and look this up on Amazon, because I'm telling you, folks, this, if you've got a charcuterie board, if you own even one cheese board, you should have this companion piece in your kitchen because it looks good. It's a type of thing that's a conversation starter. Even if no one else is talking about bread in the room, you can hold this thing up and they're like, isn't this a nice bread slicer? Oh, it's changed the way we live in our house on a daily basis. I'm telling you.
What's it called again?
Serrated bow style bread slicer.
Bow style.
Serrated. SERRATED bow style bread slicer. And I'm telling you, you are in for a real treat. It looks like the type of thing that Bilbo Baggins would use to slice up a Hobbit biscuit.
It looks like a bunch of it looks like a fence.
Like a fence. Yes, it does look like a fence.
Okay. This is because people can't cut in straight lines?
No, it's because you want a nice, like if you make homemade bread, you want something that looks good. You can use it to cut in straight lines, but it is just it's a nice accent piece for your kitchen.
Oh, this is like the presentation of the bread.
Right. And this is not something that Tucker feels is needed.
I am not going to drop
$25.
Not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a $50 one, a $70 one, a $65 one.
You're looking at like ones that are way too expensive.
Okay, let's just go with what you said, $25.
Yep.
Let's go lower. I'm not dropping a crisp $10 bill on a fence for my bread.
On
You're
a
like, oh, doesn't the bread look nice with a fence around it?
Okay, no. You're looking at the wrong thing. You're looking at like a cutting guide.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Right. You know, you're looking at the wrong item. You are looking for, this is like a bread knife.
I wrote serrated bow style bread slicer.
Yep.
It's just a knife. It's straight up just a knife.
Yeah. So like when I put that serrated bow style bread slicer, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at all these other things. That's why I said it looks like there's a fence around your bread, and you said yeah.
Okay, so it's like the second and third thing down there. I Slice looks like it's a brand name for it. Wooden bread bow knife, serrated bread cutter.
Okay, I'm gonna write wooden bread bone knife. I was like, why the fuck would I want a fence for my bread?
But the other thing too is like, so if you make homemade bread, you might want the fence for it, right?
Wait,
so that helps you slice it.
Wooden bread no, wooden.
But okay, search bread slicer I Slice.
Bread
like iPod, but I Slice.
Slicer I Slice.
Yep.
I slice with my little eye.
And it should take you to a product that looks like it's a little bow and arrow with a handle. But one part of it is a serrated knife.
I see knives. But that's it, dude.
Oh my
I
God.
see knives.
This is so infuriating that you can't see what I can see because it's so easy.
I see a meat slicer like you'd have at a deli.
Nope. Okay, hold on. I am actually going to send you
this Imarku German high carbon stainless steel professional grain bread slicing knife.
No, just shut your mouth. Just shut your silly ass mouth. I'm gonna just send you this thing in here because I am sorry, listener. I am apologizing.
Oh yeah. What are you apologizing for specifically?
For your incompetence.
Making us look for. Isn't this a great display item for your bread?
It's not a display item. You use it to cut the bread.
You called it an accent piece.
It is an accent piece.
Yes, that would be for display.
No, an accent piece ups the ante of it. Like you want to display this, but it also has a utility purpose for everyday life.
It's just a knife, right?
Yes, but it's not just. First of all, anyone who says it's just a knife clearly doesn't understand the difference between a good knife and like a Chicago cutlery knife.
Maybe if you could guide me to show me the actual goddamn knife.
I took a screenshot of it and I'm sending you the screenshot right now. It should be in your textual messages. Oh, I heard the bing. See. I heard it on your end.
Yeah, this did not pull up at all in my search. Whoa, this thing's crazy. This looks like
asshole.
This was not in the search at all. I swear to God. And I wrote exactly what you told me to write.
I feel like you're condescending me. Like, oh, look at this. Oh God, if this had shown up right away, I easily would have understood what you said.
No, I still no. This is interesting because this is not at all what showed up on my search, and I typed in exactly what you told me to type.
Forget about the bread fence. Do you see what I'm saying now about this bread knife?
Well, not. Tell me again why it's nice because I can't tell. It looks like an ice skate.
First of all, it's a great serrated knife. So for cutting homemade bread that I make in my own home, it's fantastic. Secondly, I love the look of it. I love the wood look on the handle, and it's great to just have out. So like I put a hook up in my kitchen so that this thing can hang and always be out. I just think it's really cool. I think it's so cool that one time I went to the home of Jill's Gunkles, and they had one of these, and I was like, these guys are classy AF. I got to get myself one of these knives, and maybe they'll look past the fact that I wear sweatpants 2 days out of the week.
Okay, so this is truly Amazon.sg. What's Amazon.sg? Delivered to the United States. What? It thinks I'm in a different country. How did I get here? Because here's the thing. You searched for bread bow knife.
Yeah.
And even when I type in bread bow knife on jeffbezos.com,
Yep.
it does not show me this
What?
at all. And then I look up at the URL and I'm at amazon.sg. What's .sg?
I don't know.
All right. So now I'm on amazon.com. And now I'm going to search for bread bow knife. Are
you right now currently being like hacked? Is JJ Meets World getting hacked as we talk?
Not that I'm aware of, but now that I'm on amazon.com and I write in bread bow knife, now it shows up. Yeah.
Oh.
I was on some, and here was the thing. So if you go to amazon.com up at the top left where the logo is, it says, hello, select your address.
Yeah.
When I'm at that amazon.sg page, which I'm going to go back to, it says, would you like to deliver it to the United States?
What?
Shit. Why does it think I'm in Singapore?
Okay. Wait a minute. To the right of your search on Amazon, is there a picture of an American flag?
No. And here's the thing too, is this is in Chrome, which I just installed for this recording.
Okay.
Because we use Zencaster, and so it's like my Chrome is set to Singapore for some reason.
It must be because, okay, so to the right of your, so this is something I just recently learned that people should know more about, but when you're on Amazon.com, to the right of your search bar, there should be a picture of the country you're currently shopping in. So it's mine's got a little American flag and it's in English. I can change the language to like Spanish if I want. It says you are shopping on Amazon.com, American flag. I can change the country or region. So
I see what I did. No. Okay, I get what I did now. No, so as we've been talking, I've been Googling images of the chef and fridge fork because I'm going to use it for the thumbnail. I think it's an intriguing enough item and it's spent enough time talking about it that it was going to be part of the thumbnail. And the thumbnail that I clicked on was to a listing for it at amazon.sg. So for some reason, as I was looking at photos of it on Google's image search, the one I clicked on happened to be for an Amazon listing in Singapore. Mystery solved. That's what happened.
There we go.
Again,
be careful when you're just hopping around the internet. You never know what's going to happen.
I was like, okay, this is hilarious to me, but I'm literally not trying to be a dick to JJ. I'm literally going, I'm typing those words. I'm not seeing what I am seeing is now I feel like I got to show you what I was finding.
It's good. It's good that we solved this mystery because I've already started drafting a letter that says, Tucker, two men may not share the same opinion. And I was getting ready to end our relationship. But this is good. This is really good. So I'm glad that you were able to solve this. You Jessica Fletchered this thing.
If you are at jeffbezos.com, America style right now, search bread guide cutter and you'll see what I was looking at.
Bread guide cutter.
Yeah.
Okay, bread. Now, here's the other problem, too. I am drastically changing all of my targeted marketing right now.
How do you think I feel?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It looks like the bread's in a little backyard, and you use this to slice.
I thought, because you said it's a nice accent piece. I was like, so he wants to have bread sitting in a fence. So that when people are over and they see he has bread, it's also not just bread, it's bread in a fence. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Well, I
was like, why the fuck would I ever want this, JJ?
Yeah, I can.
Bread just goes moldy with me.
Yeah. I mean, this is something from another time when people used to have homemade bread all the time and you'd want to unify this. Like, I mean, do you know what they say? Like, this is the niftiest thing since sliced bread.
They're trying to standardize the slicing sizes,
right. I mean, that came from a time when you did not get a loaf of bread that was sliced already. Okay, we got to move along. The next is in the family of the fridge fork. It is called the Home X Pickle and Olive Hourglass Jar. Think of an hourglass.
You're going to have to say that all over again.
Yeah.
What?
Home X Pickle and Olive Hourglass Jar. So think of the shape of an hourglass. And so this is like a squat version of that. And what's unique about this is you put all of your olives and the brine in one side. And then when you need to serve them, you tip it over and all of the brine goes to the bottom So you can
God.
just pull like your pickle or olive off the top.
Could you find any items that aren't just revolting
Well,
for
I
us
mean,
to talk about?
clearly my life is surrounded by a lot of pickles and olives right now.
You have a lot of preservative juices.
I do a lot. Well, that's the other thing too. Part of my better about hydration is I've been drinking a lot of pickle juice lately because they say that's good for you too, and it's nice and salty and sour, and it makes me go. Ooh. This retails for $15. This is the type of thing where if you see this and you're gonna know immediately if you have to have it or not. I knew I had to have it. In fact, I knew I needed to give it away as a gift. This would be great for someone like if you are putting a Bloody Mary bar together at your home for a brunch. This would be a good thing. Okay.
So the idea being that because I don't eat these things is the notion that you want them in that juice when it's being preserved, but when it's time to eat it, you want to have it separated from the juice right away.
Because you don't want someone sticking their fingers in your juice.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
That actually, now that I understand what I'm looking at, that makes complete sense to me.
Do you like Shirley Temples?
No.
I was gonna say you do the same thing with maraschino cherries. I'm trying to think of a product. Do you have anything that sits in a brine that you eat?
I drink beer. I'm a man.
Yeah,
JJ.
so do I.
I'm a big, strong, masculine man.
Right.
No, I don't.
Right. The big, strong, masculine man who's like, I don't want to snowblow my driveway.
I don't. I'm tired.
I'd rather stay inside and watch my Marvel movies on VHS tape.
I do.
Okay,
I would
Tucker.
have died on the Oregon Trail.
I actually have an item that is, I'm telling you, this one I'm going to recommend to you highly.
Okay.
So I have a basement office, and the room that I use for my office could be converted into a bedroom at any time if I wanted. So it has carpet inside of it. But I also have a desk chair. My desk chair wheels are friggin' awful on carpet. Jill started working from home and using her office chair on hardwood, but the wheels are so small and kind of they're plastic, so they scratch at the floor that it's actually ruined part of our flooring in the room that Jill uses for an office. I bought office chair rubber casters. They look just like rollerblade wheels, but they replace the wheels on the bottom of any office chair.
Oh, nice.
I have changed out my chair at work, my sister's office chair, Jill's office chair, mine. They roll effortlessly on carpet because they're much bigger than regular wheels. They're rubber, so they're nice and hard, so they're not going to scuff up the floor. These things are amazing. $20 for a full set, for a set of 5. It is a game changer. I mean,
what do you call these things again?
So they are office chair rubber casters, and you're going to see a picture of what looks like an inline skate wheel with like a metal nub at the top, which is how you slip it into the guide on your chair. I've yet to find a brand of office chair that doesn't accept this universal style. My sister has a really nice office chair she got from Microsoft, and when I popped these wheels on, it took a lot of doing to undo the other ones, but my sister now is like, oh my God, you can roll on and off the rug that she's got in her room. These things are the best. You can in your office chair, you ever try and roll over like a cord? These, no sweat, right over the cord, and it doesn't get bunched up. It doesn't chew on the cord at all. It just right over the top of it. I'm telling you, for $20, you can take an office chair that is maybe on its way out or middling at best and make it seem like $150 office chair.
This is way more preferable to what I've always seen in the past, which is people will put down like a sheet of hard plastic.
Right.
And this is way more preferable to that.
And you know what? That sheet of hard plastic, after a while, your room
looks like shit.
It goes to shit. It can embed itself in the carpet and actually work away at the carpet. God forbid any moisture gets underneath there at any time. It can't dry out. And actually your carpet will discolor at a different rate if there's sun hitting it, because this is diffusing it before it goes in. These are friggin' amazing. I mean, absolutely awesome. And it takes It takes you and a needle nose pliers to get the other ones off of any other desk chair and then pop these on. I can't say enough great things about just changing out your wheels on your chair. And these rubber gliders, you can get them $20 to $40 a set. I don't see any difference between the lower priced and the higher priced. So
Yeah.
you do what feels right to you. I can't say enough things. So much so that, like, Tucker, if you ever decide you want to get these, I'd love to come and be with you when you change them out and then take your first glide. They are just out of this world. In fact, I'm admiring the ones on my desk chair right now. I love them so much. And like I said, on carpet, no sweat. On carpet, they roll beautifully.
Here's a picture of a chair that's got an elephant on it. And they're saying these are great, that even this elephant can be. It's saying it supports a total of 700 pounds. I bet an elephant weighs more than 700 pounds.
I mean, is it a baby elephant or a full grown elephant?
It's a photoshopped elephant, meaning it's like an adult elephant that's been made to be tiny.
If you're trying
so it could fit in an office chair.
If you're trying to tell someone that it works like this, why are you lying to them through Photoshop?
It's weird.
This isn't about a bikini's going to make you look like Cindy Crawford. Like, just don't lie to the people.
Yeah.
Just
better wheels.
So my next product this is probably the biggest name brand product that I'm going to talk about, but it's a product that has honestly changed the way I live my life day to day. And that's the Apple AirPods Pro. I'll be honest, I hate the way earbuds feel in my ears. The stuff that they used to send with an iPhone used to make my ears hurt. And so I waited a long time. And when I finally got these, they changed my life completely. Have you experimented at all with AirPods?
Not the Pro models, but I love, I'm someone who the regular style ones, second generation ones actually do work for my ears really nicely. So they've never bothered me, but I can totally get the different ears have different, shapes and stuff. So I have not tried the Pro ones yet.
And really, in all honesty, you get the same features. The Pro just have a different shape, and they've got interchangeable little like rubber pieces,
little nubbies, that like kind of help them like seat in there a little bit better.
Here's the thing. I put on my pair of AirPods. I got Jill a pair in February for like Valentine's Day, and then I finally got a pair right around Labor Day. They're amazing. The noise canceling feature on them. You can I use them when I snow blow, and I can just barely hear the snow blower. The noise canceling is so good. You can be in a room with someone who's talking at you and you won't hear anything, even if you're not consuming any media through it. Like if you're not listening to an episode of JJ Meets World, the noise canceling is just bonkers.
I just love how, in general, with wireless headphones, just not having the wire, because like having headphones and having the wire and going for walks and stuff, I'd always get tangled up in it. It was always the thing that would break and then you couldn't use it anymore. I've had one pair of AirPods since they first released, and I still use them and I love them. And yeah, they're not going to be, at least I've got an older generation one, so I'm sure the newer generation ones sound much better. But they're perfect for what I use them for. And I just love feeling light and free when I'm listening to music. Right?
And incredibly intuitive. Like the charging case that they come in, like I had to open it and my iPhone already was talking to them and saying like, here you go. It tells you the charging rate. It tells you like, hey, you forgot your AirPods. Like, have you ever been like walking somewhere and it's like, hey, your AirPods are now out of range? That saved me from, I forgot them I was getting a massage one day and I forgot them they had fallen out of my pocket. And so like my phone was like, hey, your AirPods are no longer near you. And I'm like, oh God, I'll go back. And sure enough, they were laying on the floor. They're great.
Agreed.
I am also kind of shocked at the fact that like I find myself using them more and more on a regular basis. Also, the pass-through feature where if I'm looking at something in that direction, it will like unmute that area. So like if Jill's talking to me and I look at Jill, I can now hear Jill clearly.
Okay, gotcha.
It's crazy, man.
That's way cool. I also just love them as a communicating device in general. Like I love, if I know I'm going to be on a long phone call or a long Zoom call or something, I love using my AirPods for that. It's not going to be as good of like say this microphone, but it's more than good enough. And then you just feel you're totally unencumbered and you can move about and do whatever you need to do while you're having long conversations. So whenever we have Theater B meetings on Zoom, which is all the time right now, I'm pretty much just like in the meeting, but I'm walking about my house doing my thing.
In my day job on the radio, we actually tell people like, hey, listen, don't put us on speakerphone, but if you have AirPods, use that, because the nice thing is when I'm talking to you on the phone, a lot can happen, right? I can move the phone away from my mouth. I'm holding my phone while I'm telling you this. The audio changes based on where you are speaking and where the microphone on your phone is. But when you pop your AirPods on, it's taking that nice crisp signal the whole time. And so it's changed the way we talk to people, saying like, now put your AirPods in, man. That's where it's at.
Hey, speaking of your day job, you posted this past week, I think it was an audio clip of you talking to Louis Anderson.
Darn tootin'.
Doing your day job. I just kind of wanted, it brought it up in my mind and I wanted to make sure I acknowledged it to you. I'm really sorry about Louis' passing. I know how much he meant to you.
Yeah.
As just a figurehead. And I know you had a really, really positive interaction with him when you had the privilege of interviewing him on the radio.
Yeah, it was November of 2019. So right before, months before the pandemic. And the conversation that we had was to promote a show he had coming up at the Dakota Magic Casino. And one of the best parts about talking to Louis Anderson is he gave us 30 minutes of his time. And partially it's because he has such a fond feeling for the Upper Midwest. He's from St. Paul, Minnesota, born and raised. And he he loved talking about stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm the only comedian smart enough to book shows April through October, knowing that those will happen no matter what. And, he talked about, he goes, the Midwesterners are the best because they'll ask you a question like this, which is such a great backhanded compliment. That's such a cool hat you have. Did you get it at a garage sale? Just a fun guy, the nicest guy in comedy, gave us so much time, so much fun. And I've looked up to him for a lot of years. He's a guy who got ahead of other people when it came to like his weight, let's say. And he found ways to not be self-deprecating, but just to kind of put out in the world of like the thing everyone's already thinking. Right. So it's like, I had to go to the doctor the other day, and I hate going to the doctor because like when you're on an airplane and they've got a seatbelt extender, they always have to find one of those cuff extenders for me. And so they might as well just call it the fat guy, like blood pressure machine. And he goes, but here's the thing, where I come from, everyone's got to use it. So why don't they just make a husky size for everybody and then we'll all be fine. He's just a fun, nice guy. And I actually talked to Chad Daniels, another comedian who actually lives in Fergus Falls, but he's one of like Vulture's top comedians in the country right now that you need to listen to their album. And Chad Daniels said the same thing, is that he worked on a show that Louis was producing. And what was amazing is Louis had a ton of insight and would come in and check in all the time, even though he didn't have to. His show, his animated series, Life with Louis, which you can watch a lot of on YouTube, is so good because he does not only his own voice, but he also does the voice of his dad. And the way he does his dad's voice is, it's so good. It's so relatable. Everyone had at least one person in their life who shout, what are you going on over here? What are we looking at? Stop talking.
I was a big fan of the cartoon as a kid as well. And this is kind of surprising me. I just went to Blu-ray.com right now to see what releases it's been given. And it's been given 0 releases.
0.
It's never been released.
In fact,
so are the YouTube copies just people's home tapes that they happen to catch a section on?
They are. So they're very low quality. I mean, it's taped broadcast quality from like the early 90s.
I wonder then who owns, was it Fox?
It was Fox. So and
Fox has it.
maybe now, and maybe it was to the point of where like Louis actually has some ownership over it, and he, they were constantly trying to screw him on the deal or something.
Well, technically, if Fox owned it, then that means Disney owns it now.
Oh, good point.
Right. So then it could be of the catalog of things they own. Maybe they will eventually release it.
There were a bunch
now
of
I'm
like
really intrigued.
Like Fox, there's a bunch of Fox afternoon series that there's like Eek the Cat was another show I used to watch all the time.
Yeah. That's never been released.
Well, it's like now's the time, right? So these were all Fox programming. So why not? My favorite episode of Life with Louie is one of their Christmas episodes. And there's an old lady who lives down the block, an old widow, and she hasn't put up any Christmas lights. And so Louie's mom, who, by the way, is voiced by Edie McClurg, who was the Ferris Bueller, the secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or the rental agent in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, a car rental agent, who I met at the Second City in Los Angeles years and years and years ago, and was hosting her friends from Moorhead, Minnesota, when I met her in a group of only like 10 people who came to that show that night. So the mom takes the widow away shopping for the day, offers to take her shopping for the day, and all the kids in the neighborhood and Louie's dad put up all these decorations and lights on the house, and it's so sweet and so sentimental, and they work all day long, and the woman comes home and they light up the house, and she's taken aback and she's starting to cry, and Louie, who narrates the episodes, goes, she was so excited to see this. And we found out why she doesn't put up Christmas lights. She's Jewish.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
But she doesn't tell them to take them down or anything like that. And it's the gesture, that neighborly gesture. It's just a great episode. I absolutely loved it from top to bottom.
It's blowing my mind that there's no release of it right now because I guess I'm just surprised. I'm surprised to find out what is out there that has not been released yet, or really what's happened a lot now is that so like, because I've been going through I organized my whole physical media collection and got everything like categorized and stuff and cataloged, and then I went through all my DVDs and noted on each one where there is no Blu-ray release. So the DVD is the highest quality physical release that particular title has had, one of which is Captain Ron. Captain Ron's best physical release was on DVD. It was never released on Blu-ray. I think you can stream it now, but even if you can't, there are so many things now that can be streamed in HD, but don't have like a Blu-ray release of that HD, which is really surprising to me.
I'm surprised.
So there's actually there's going to be like a whole, I think, like either what it might end up just being is that they eventually get 4K releases that will include the Blu-ray, since 4K releases, from what I'm heard, will typically have like a normal 1080p Blu-ray included with them.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen more in the world of like print on demand type stuff for that, where it's maybe got, the cover art doesn't look that good and it's not, there's no special features, but they'll get you this higher definition version. I don't want that when it comes to Captain Ron. I want a fully fleshed out, nice, big, splashy Kurt Russell, Martin Short sitting down, Mary Kate Place talking about all the places she went. That's what I want, but I know I'm never going to get it unless I become obscenely wealthy, and then I can make it just for myself, which is not impossible.
Right. I don't own anything in 4K yet. I don't have a 4K player. I've got the TV for it, but that's it. But I think that's what I'm going to treat myself to in the spring here, is actually start owning 4K stuff. And that's the stuff I'll have to pay, obviously, full price for. I just buy stuff cheap at pawn shops or whatever, typically. But those are going to have to be real specific choices then, where I go, listen, I'm going to very specifically choose movies that are so important to me that I want to own them I want to own them at this level. Unfortunately, the Ninja Turtle movies of our childhood have not been released on 4K yet.
Oh, just give them some time. There's a new animated Turtles movie coming out, and it's the perfect time to like revisit all that stuff. And
oh yeah, no, I'm sure they will. There's money to be made there. They just haven't yet.
What I think is interesting is I don't know a lot of people even nowadays who are like, yeah, I actually don't have a DVD player hooked up anymore. They've moved over completely to streaming. I think we're living in a world where we can just expect the media of yesteryear to be something for the Tucker Lucases of the world, while the average family's like, nope, I just, I've got Netflix and this and Amazon, and when I want it, I just get it off of there.
Well, here's the thing. I love streaming. I mean, streaming makes total sense to me. And it wasn't until recently that in the past couple of years, that I really got back on board with the having physical copies of media aspect of stuff. But it just needs to kind of mean something different now. Like if I'm going to go and pay full price for physical media, then I want there to be something just fantastic about that. It can't just be the Blu-ray release of a movie. That was one of the really nice things about the advent of DVD, was suddenly we're getting all these special features and we're getting all these other things that sort of add to it, versus just the movie in and of itself. So many Blu-ray releases, they're just, it's that, but it's in high definition. And it's also a crappy transfer, right? So you don't even get that great of a transfer. But then you've got like the Criterions who just released Citizen Kane in 4K, where they go through and they do this like really meticulous restoration job to try to make it as good looking as possible. That for me, I would plop down money for that, where there's a lot of time and effort and care and love and attention put into it, versus a lot of Blu-ray releases, which are just so throwaway, except for the fact that they are more resolution than a DVD is going to give you.
The last product I want to feature as my way of segueing out of this it's a TP-Link, is a company that's kind of known for, routers and stuff that deals with like internet extension and computer accessories. So I've talked to Tucker about this before, and I've actually mentioned it on the podcast, but I'm going to mention it here. They make the Powerline Wi-Fi adapter. So what this thing does is it actually uses the existing copper cabling in your house's electrical system to send an internet signal. So, for example, I'm downstairs in a basement, and between me and my router is a series of thick walls, a brick fireplace, a million other devices. And I can still use the internet. I can still use the Wi-Fi on the computer, but it was spotty at best. I also have like a television in my basement that I like to stream off of, but every now and then I would notice it's starting to kind of slog along a little bit. And then I also have a shed in my backyard. So I tried router extenders and things like that, and Wi-Fi extenders that just didn't work until my friend Luke, who was the IT guy at my day job, said, you got to try this thing. All you have to do is plug it into any outlet and then run an Ethernet cord to your router or your modem. And now any outlet in your house, you plug in the companion to it, and it gives you an Ethernet connection as well as a Wi-Fi extender at that point.
That's pretty sweet.
It is friggin' amazing. And for $40, so you only have to buy the base kit once, and then you can just buy additional ports anywhere in your place. Now, here's the one downside. It does not work in a place that has segmented electrical grids. So, for example, it wouldn't work in an apartment building. It wouldn't work in an office building. But my entire electrical grid all comes back to one electrical box in my house, including my shed. So in my shed, I have an Ethernet port that is fast. We're talking like it gives you incredibly fast speed. And then I've got the ability to have these everywhere. So I bought an Amazon Fire Cube that I put in my basement because it's got an Ethernet port in it, and I hooked that up to the television. I haven't had a single lag issue since. I use it on this computer all the time. I haven't turned the Wi-Fi on in months, and it got us through the entire pandemic. This thing is so amazing and intuitive, and I can't see any downside of it whatsoever. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't up my electrical bill. It doesn't hurt this. It doesn't hurt that. It is just a great way to use the wiring in your house, because let's face it, my house is built in 1957 and they weren't running Cat 5 all over the place.
Right.
Hopefully houses nowadays, they are running, they are making like that as a possibility. but rather like gone are the days of where I had to use a gigantic Ethernet cord and run it all the way down the, my stairs into the basement. It's plug and play. It is so easy. There's nothing to set up. It is so fantastic. I can't say enough great things about it. And if you are on a single electrical box system, oh, baby, if you've got an older home, this is the best way, the easiest way for you to create a great internet source anywhere you want it in the entire house. So good.
I think this is so cool. I'm just really interested in just the tech of how it works in general. And I'm not super familiar with the concept of it.
Right. And like, I guess I was like, well, there's your electrical system's different. It's like, nope, it uses the existing copper wiring that's already in your house. There's nothing else you need to do. I am just, in fact, I should have done a speed test before this, but it's amazing. So for example, I stream Plex off of a computer I have. And I have it hooked up to one of these, and it's lightning fast for what I need. Never have any lag issues. It also is great too, because like if you find yourself in an area where the internet's not so hot, you could actually plug in another router into this and then extend that in another way. So for example, let's say you ran a business out of your home and you wanted to have a guest Wi-Fi in like your shop area. You could set up this just as easily without having to, okay, so I'm going to try this extender, but I gotta make sure that it syncs with it. And nope. Jill uses this for her home office here, so it works really well with the proxy server and everything like that they have set up. So I'm just this TP-Link power line adapter is so great, so awesome. I'm using it right now, and I'm going to use it throughout the rest of the day. So it's fantastic. And Tucker, I see we are over an hour already at this point. I gotta go because I'm going to be playing some nerdy board games. I've been playing Jaws of the Lion with a group of friends, which is part of the Gloomhaven game series, and tonight we're going to finish it. We've been playing it since June of 2020, and so we finally finish it today.
Oh my god.
Yeah, very excited about it. And we haven't been playing every weekend, but we've done somewhere it's like a 9-hour like marathon like sit, and so I'm very excited to put this one to bed and see what we're going to play after that. So as we say goodbye, I'll go over these again real quick. The roof raiser for getting the snow off your roof, the Chef-In fridge fork for forking all of your condiments, Liquid IV for those of you who want something that tastes good but also is giving you those great electrolytes and zinc. The Serrated bow style bread knife. Do not go on the like Singapore based Amazon. You're going to want to go on the US based Amazon to find it. The Homex pickle and olive hourglass jar. The office chair rubber casters that look like inline skate wheels. Apple AirPods Pro, and the TP-Link Powerline adapter. Woo! Okay, so long, listener. And if you buy any of these, make sure to tell the retailer you heard about it on JJ Meets World, because we would really love for them to give us some money. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. Here's the thing. I was also going to recommend a type of lube, but I found out that you're not supposed to use it on your body. It's for your car.